Whenever you're down, out in the cold, faithless and dark, your story's untold. Come take my hand.
Yo! Welcome to a brand new video. Shit, forgot to do an intro on this one on site, so I'm all dressed up, flash as. Hey, it's Diaphragms and shower Rebates. Make sure you freaking check it out, leave a comment, see if I've done anything wrong. Enjoy the video. Alrighty, Tim Tidy. So, when it comes to marking out our ceiling battens, you don't want to be butting into the packer plate because that's not where our sheeted jib board's coming from. You want to be butting into the framing line, right? And we want to be setting our battens at 600 centers. So what that means is we actually need to have the batten at sitting in the center of 600. So that's the center, right? Our batten width is 70 mil, so we've got to take away 35, and that way our batten will be sitting right here. You can imagine it. Our batten's going to come straight in there, and that way we can have a 600 center mark all the way along. Yeah, I've done this plenty of times. Butted into here, done this, done 600, and then X that way. So many different mistakes as a young fella, but you learn. Once you've made the mistake once, you pretty much learn straight away. Look at that, stainless clout, bro. That's how rich we are. Fuck, shouldn't be using that. But now that I've got my shit, I should just scribble those out because they get confusing. Now I got my mark. I can put a nail in there instead of trying to butt in, and then I can just go 600s from there. That way I know. Always put an X on the side of the mark that you're going to be putting the batten on. Otherwise, again, you're going to get freaking confused. So yeah, especially with these long runs, we want to be able to have a nail in to hook over. Makes it far easier. Now when it comes to a situation like this, I think I'm actually gonna I think I will start marking the batten out on the truss here. Oh, it's a little bit random. Wonder what's going on there. That's not good. That way I can continue my marks all the way along. So again, what is that? So I want to get an accurate mark. I'll just use my square. 665. Please. Use the stainless clout. Six, 36, 42. So we want to be able to keep that consistent 600 mark all the way through here. Pretty solid. Ohmskis. Fabian, you're not used to touching such a big wood, eh? Eh? Is that all you got? I'm sure you could come up with something better than that. Oh. really need a fucking, I don't really need to hit a nail in. All I need to do is butt it into the wall and just use my calculation of 600 center. And that way I, you know, it's just saving a step really. Now in a situation where I've got this, I'm in this laundry cupboard at the moment, one would think it'd be a good idea to stick the batten right in the middle just to give extra support for the jib, but we've got to sort of think ahead and think if there's going to be any lights, downlights in here, we don't want them bang in the center of the room because that's probably where the lights are going to go. So I'm just going to use my 600 center again on here, and that way we've got, you know, space if they're going to put lights in here, which I assume they are. Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe I should look at the electrical plan. I've actually already gone through, right, and measured all the ceiling battens. What I did was I measured one side, right, where there's a fixed, one side where there's a fixed point, and then the other side where it's a fixed point, and see if they're parallel. That way we can cut all the ceiling battens the same length in each room. And we got all of them besides one wall. And it's not really the wall that's out, it's actually the packer plate was put on a slight angle. So we're pretty lucky there, which is really good. And Fabian's just going through and lobbing them all up. Now, we've actually stacked, because we've got a frickin' heaps of random lengths. Like, look at all these random lengths of timber. You know, normally they come in standard length, but so we ended up just taking the stack and stacking them all in the specific length. That way he can minimize offcuts and make it easier to cut each room at the same time. But now we've got a freaking chalk line. Now that we've got everything all marked out, we need to run chalk lines in the bigger rooms to make sure that our ceiling battens are nice and straight. In the smaller rooms, not super necessary. You can sort of just like eye it up. Like, I mean, this room here for sure we're going to need chalk lines. How are we going to eye that up? But I mean, in a room like this, we can assume that the distance from here to here isn't going to be a hell of a lot of you know, the timber isn't going to bow fucking, you know what I'm saying. It's not going to be out of, it's not going to be too far out if it is, and we can just use our eye to freaking straighten it. But yeah. Gonna ping it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. Double?
Yeah, double.
Beautiful. Alright, so now we've sort of got all the smaller rooms smashed out with our ceiling battens. I've come to this massive room that like, you know, the kitchen, dining lounge, and our span's quite big. So what I'm doing is I'm just going through, and I've got set my laser up behind here, up, and I'm just going through checking each point where my purlin hits, and just making sure that we've sort of got within a mil of the laser, I guess you could say. So I've set it up to 50 mil, so if it's like 48 or 53, I'll put a little measurement there, I'll write it down, then I can go through and I can either chisel it out, plane it, or pack it. And that way we're going to have like a dead flat ceiling through here, because that span's quite big, and yeah, I'm just not super confident that it's going to be flat. So. I'm doing this right now and I'm thinking, fuck, I probably shouldn't be taking too much timber out of here. Lucky it's only 3 mil. Should really take it out of the ceiling batten. packed all the joists, the trusses down. Even in the intermediates or on sometimes there's a join you can pick up a little bit. So I come along and I just fuzz it out a little. Punch a frickin' nail first. Good morning! We're back on site this morning. Woohoo! Putting our frickin' ceiling plywood diaphragm in. Now I'm just tacking these sheets in, the ones that go along here, because we're gonna have to pull them back down to get insulation in and stuff like that. But yeah, I want to get them in just so I know I've got them cut and they're up, because we're sort of fluffing around waiting for joinery to show up and cladding, so we're just going to get them in. A few tacks here and then we can easily just take the tacks out when needed. Also, check out this amazing system we have. We have the ply diaphragm is pretty much, yeah, I think I explained it yesterday, so, but we need to do certain, fuck's sakes, cut, how am I going to say this? We need to nail the plywood off in a certain pattern to create the diaphragm. When we're doing this, the ceiling diaphragm, we need to screw the plywood off at certain points around the outside of the ply and through the middle, so the bracing element will work correctly. And so what we have to do is we've got to do 150 centers around the outside and then 300s in the middle. Now look at this little system that Fabiano fucking thought of this morning. Hey, so what we did was we actually staggered 10 of the sheets, stacked them out like that, just marked our top one with our 150s, and then we also staggered it in such a way that we can just put a little line there, so we sort of have a good fixing point, I guess you could say, a good distance for our fixings. But yeah, far out, that's what we did this morning. We're on to it, eh?
Yes, sir.
And now we're gonna smash it. So yeah, another little thing that we need to think about is the plywood itself when it's going up. We need fixing points around the whole perimeter. So we've gone through and we've actually knocked out where the ends of our sheets are, and then we also have to stagger the sheets. We can't have them all in line. Stagger them like a brick effect, almost like we did the floor. Stagger. But yeah, we'll just screw these on and then fucking go from there. The man, bro. They could hurt you, couldn't it? Wait, so you've never had a watermelon sugar high?
No.
Never tried it? Watermelon sugar high.
I've never tried.
Eh?
I've never tried it.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Watermelon sugar high.
Yeah. You never tried it?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Bro, that's that song by Harry Styles.
Oh, the fucking song.
You know the one, eh? Eh?
Yeah,
Well, how does it go?
watermelon sugar.
Alrighty. Okay, so now when it comes to ceilings, and when we're trying to do a cutout in the ceiling for our plywood, jib, whatever, what you need to do is you don't draw it how you see it, if you know what I mean. How do I explain that? If you don't draw it how you see it, so I wouldn't draw it like this. Okay? Actually, yeah, I would. Come on, about. Cut! Alright, so when it comes to our cutouts in the ceiling, there's a specific way you need to do it. You can't just look at it like this, right? Look at it like this and then draw it out the way you would a standard sheet. Because if you think about it, you're going to go like this, you've got drawn it, and you're going to go cut it out. We normally cut on the face side of the board, right? When you go to stick it up, it's going to be sort of the opposite way that you want it. You can't flip it this way either, it's just not going to work. So you need to sort of do a little bit of like movement like this. And I always like to look up at the ceiling and then draw the shape of the board that we need. Otherwise you're going to stuff it up. It's so freaking windy. But anyway, yeah, just thought I'd mention that with our ceiling cuts.
Yeah, I saw that. Freaking ugly bastard.
Alrighty, Tim Tidy, for the last part of the day, we are going to start constructing our recessed shower tray. And what I mean by that is we want to have a level entry from the floor into our shower. So we want it to be level entry and then we can start sloping down. So first thing we need to think about is how thick is our shower tray that's going in here. I called the supplier and it's about 35mm thick, right? So second thing I got to do is make sure that the joist itself that we're recessing is going to be thick enough to recess. But in this situation we've got a bit of a funny design, not funny design, a design that I haven't done before, so we don't have to strengthen up the joist. So pretty much what's going to happen, right? If you have a look here, you can see I got two lines, right? So the first line is for me to, that's my checkout that I got to do on the joist. The second one is where a piece of 4x2 that goes on here screws onto the side of the joist. And then what's going to happen is the plywood actually sits in between the two joists, so we're not cutting out as much joist, and we don't have to structurally support them. So it's actually quite a cool idea, but I don't know, it's a little bit weird. Even using H1.2 joist in the bathroom is odd, but fuck, hey, it's on the plan, so we just do it like that. So I'm just going to go through, I'm going to cut the tops of these joists out, and then I can start nogging out and putting the runners in, and then flooring, insulation and flooring. Ew. Alright, we're back on site. We've freaking boarded up all the windows. It's freaking stormy as shit. Okay, so now I left here yesterday, checked out the floor joist by 15 mil. Now I'm gonna go put these runners in like this, if they fit. 20 mil lower than my checkout, so my plywood is gonna sit flush with the top of the checkout of the joist. See where our plywood's sitting. I need to go through and put these 75mm bugles at 200 centers through our piece of 4x into our joist, and that's going to laminate it together so there's no movement ever. Also going to stagger it up and down. I'm not just going to put it all in the center all the way along, just to give it a bit more, I don't know. Seems a little bit silly to frickin' build like this, eh? Got an H1.2 joist, but anyway, just doing what the plan says. Should have used my knowledge a little bit better there, but still acceptable, so stuff it. And that's it for another exciting episode, eh? Woo! Ceiling battens, jib diaphragm, jib far out ply diaphragm, recessed shell trays, bits and bobs waiting for our frickin' cladding and windows, so hopefully that's the next video, eh? If you made it to the end, thank you for frickin' watching and see you on the next one. Deuces!